What is pluralism? Pluralism is a political philosophy. As a political philosophy is the recognition and affirmation of diversity within a political body, which is seen to permit the peaceful coexistence of different interests, convictions, and lifestyles. While not all political pluralists advocate for a pluralist democracy, the most commonest democracy is often viewed as the most fair and effective way to moderate between the discrete values. As put by arch pluralist Isaiah Berlin, let's have the courage of our admitted ignorance, of our doubts and uncertainties. At least we can try to discover what others require by making it possible for ourselves to know men as they truly are, by listening to them carefully and sympathetically, and understanding them and their lives and their needs. Pluralism thus tries to encourage members of society to accommodate their differences by avoiding extremism, adhering solely to one value, or at least refusing to recognize others as legitimate, and engaging in good faith dialogue. Pluralists often seek the construction of or reform of social institutions in order to reflect and balance competing principles. One of the more famous arguments for institutional pluralism came from James Madison in the Federalist Paper No. 10. Madison feared that factionalism would lead to infighting in the new American Republic, and devotes this paper to questioning how best to avoid such an occurrence. He opposes said to avoid factionalism, it is best to allow many competing factions, advocating different primary principles, to prevent any one from dominating the political spectrum. This relies to a degree on a series of disturbances, changing the influencing of groups as to avoid institutional dominance and ensure competition. Like Edmund Burke, this view concerns itself with balance and subordinating any single abstract principle to a plurality of realistic harmony of interests. Pluralism recognizes that certain conditions make good faith negotiation impossible, and therefore also focuses on what institutional structures can best modify and prevent such a situation. Pluralism advocates institutional design in keeping with a form of pragmatic realism here, with the preliminary adoption of suitable existing socio-historic structures where necessary. One of the problems plaguing any discussion of pluralism is that it is a multifaceted concept. There are at least 4 distinct ways in which the term pluralism has been used. William E. Connolly challenges older theories of pluralism by arguing for pluralism as a goal rather than a state of affairs. Connolly's argument that the multiplication of factions follows James Madison's logic in engaging groups, constituencies, and voters at both the micro and macro level. Essentially, he has shifted the theory from a conservative theory of order to a progressive theory of democratic contestation and engagement. Connolly introduces the distinction between pluralism and pluralization. Pluralism, where the interest group pluralism of Roald A. Dahl of political liberalism's reasonable pluralism, is oriented towards existing diversity of groups, values, and identities competing for political representation. Pluralization, by contrast, names the emergences of new interests, identities, values, and differences, raising claims to representation not currently legible within the existing pluralist imagery. The common good. Pluralism is connected with the hope that the process of conflict and dialogue will result in a quasi-common good. The common good is not an abstract value or set in stone, however, but an attempt at balancing competing social interests, and will thus constantly shift given present social conditions. Proponents in this contemporary political philosophy of such a view include Isaiah Berlin, Stuart Hampshire, and Bernard Williams. An earlier version of political pluralism was a strong current in the formation of modern social democracy to balance socialist and capitalist ideals, with theorists such as early Harold Laski and G.D.H. Cole, as well as other leading members of the British Fabian Society. In the United States, President Dwight Eisenhower's middle way was arguably motivated by a belief in political pluralism, while advocated by many pluralist. Pluralism need not embrace social democracy, given it does not a priori assume a desirable political system. Rather, pluralists advocate one based on the pre-existing traditions and cognizable interests of a given society, and the political structure most likely to harmonize these factors. Thus, pluralists have also included Michael Oakeshott and John Keats. Proponents are of something close to liberal conservatism, although will often reject such political labels. What pluralists certainly do have in common is the notion that a single vision or ideological schema, whether Marxism or unbridled neoliberalism, is likely too simplistic and rigid to advocate human beings' natural plurality of values. Pluralists likewise reject historicism and utopian thinking. While some, like John N. Gray, repudiate historical progress altogether, others, like Edmund Burke, indicate that human progress has occurred as a function of improved social harmony conditions. For pluralism to function and to be successful in defining the common good, all groups have to agree to a minimal consensus that shared values are at least worth pursuing. The most important baseline value is thus that of mutual respect or tolerance. If no such dialogue is possible, extremism and physical coercion is likely inevitable. Notable pluralists include Aristotle, Montaigne, James Madison, Alexis de Tocqueville, early Harold Lasky, Stuart Hampshire, Edmund Burke, Isaiah Berlin, Adam Smith, David Hume, Edward Gibbon, Voltaire, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, James Fitzjames Stephen, Charles Sanders Peirce, William James, Bernard Williams, William McKinley, Leonard Hand, later Michael Oakeshott, Joseph Raz, John Keats, later Paul Feyerabend, John N. Gray, Hannah Arendt, Robert A. Dahl, William E. Connolly, and Montesquieu. See also Anekantavada, liberal democracy, moderation, value pluralism. That was the Wikipedia article on pluralism, political philosophy. I think there's not enough pluralism in the world today. I'm trying not to make this a political YouTube channel, but I do think we need to work together to achieve common interests and progress the culture forward, reduce economic inequality, to reduce climate change. We have to work together to solve these problems through common goals, common means, through making agreement, reaching across the aisle. I don't think there's enough reaching across the aisle today in Washington. I think there's too many differences, and I think there's too much disagreement and fighting and arguing and battling and trying to hurt each other, and it's too much of that today. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about pluralism? Do you think it's a good idea like I do? Or do you think or are you on the left or are you on the right and you want to fight for what you believe in and you're so passionate about what you believe in that you don't want to achieve common legislation? I'm not totally a moderate, I am a liberal, but I'm just saying that I'm a liberal that wants to work with the leftists and the moderate Republicans to pass positive legislation. That's what I believe in pluralism. Anyways, I got this idea from Matt Iglesias. You should follow Matt Iglesias on Twitter if you want more hot takes about pluralism. I don't actually have any hot takes. I just repeat hot takes that Matt Iglesias says. You should follow him on Twitter if you want hot takes about pluralism or just political stuff today. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about pluralism? Do you agree with me? You think it's a good idea, or do you disagree with me? Are you on the left or the right or somewhere else? You're an anarchist? Anarchist would be the opposite of pluralist, I think. Or totalitarian. Totalitarian would be the opposite of a pluralist. I'm just saying. Someone that wants a civil war would be the opposite of a pluralist, because they don't want to agree on anything. So let me know where you stand. Are you a pluralist, or are you on the extreme, or whatever? Please subscribe to this channel to be part of the community, and please like this video. This channel is not really about anything. I talk about a different topic every day. Sometimes I talk about music. Sometimes I read short stories. It's always a different topic every day. Completely different areas. Sometimes business. I give stock advice. you probably don't want to subscribe to the channel because the topics are so different from each other. There's not like a commonality between them. There's not one. The channel doesn't have one topic. It's like a million topics. So this is just a random thing I was talking about today because I think Matt Iglesias brought it up on Twitter. That's why. So please subscribe to this channel if you want more random topics. Please like this video. It really helps the channel out a lot. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.